Let's go over to India, where the opposition Congress Party has expressed what it describes as its wholehearted support to the nationwide strike called for the 8th of December by farmer unions. Thousands of farmers are protesting against agricultural reforms which they say favour big companies. Union leaders are due to hold another round of talks with officials later today. Their movement has gathered support from the Punjabi community across the globe. Joining us from the protest site at the border of the Indian capital is Yogendra Yadav. He's a member of the committee that's coordinating this particular agitation. Yogendra Yadav, thank you so much for joining us. Doesn't farming in India need to be modernised, as the government says?
It needs to be modernised. It needs to be improved. It needs to be reformed. But these are not the reforms we are looking at. So it goes back to that old saying, something needs to be done. Here is something. Why don't we applaud it? We are simply saying, but this is not the something that we wanted and demanded. The laws that the government has introduced in the month of September would change the architecture of Indian agriculture forever. The trouble is, no farmer organization ever demanded or wanted it. No farmer organization was consulted before legislation, not even the minimum bare of pre-legislative consultation with shareholders or stakeholders. The parliamentary vote through which these legislations were pushed was rather dubious, to put it mildly. And not a single farmer organization in this country supports these three laws, which the Prime Minister wants to present as the greatest ever gift to the farmers of India. So in a sense, the farmers are simply saying, sorry, we don't need your gift. Please take it away. We don't need that. That's all that the farmers are saying. Yes, we would look at reforms.
What is the something that farmers want if the present situation cannot stay as it is?
What the farmers want is, number one, a certain assurance of price. The difficulty is that the government officially announces what it calls minimum support price. So the government officially says, this is the bare minimum price the farmers should get if they are to survive. And having announced it, the government goes to sleep. Less than 20% farmers ever get what the government of India calls minimum. 80% are not covered. So farmers are saying, please give us a legal assurance of what you call minimum prices. We don't want more than that. What is called minimum support price in reality has become a maximum attainable price only for about 15 to 20% farmers. So what we want is assured prices. What we want is also a system of insurance for the farmers against all kinds of calamities, which are worsening because of climate change. That's the kind of changes farmers want, not the changes introduced by the government, which would leave them at the mercy of the market.
How will this end?
If the government were to just listen, I'm in the midst of this historic protest. About 100,000 farmers are at the outskirts of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. They are staying put. They have brought with them their tractors and their trailers. They're sleeping there at night. It's pretty cold, not by British standard, but by Indian standard, it is pretty cold right now. They're sleeping, they're waiting here. And all that the government has to do is to say, we repeal those three acts. The trouble is that the government cannot read the lips of the farmers. Farmers are simply saying, please take back your historic gift. We don't need your gift. Please take back these three laws. And if the government were to do so, it will end. It can end overnight. The government has to just bring an ordinance. The trouble is that the government says, we'll amend it this way, we'll change that particular clause, but don't talk about repealing. Farmers are saying, but you said this was a gift. I don't need your gift. Take it back. That's the only way it will end.
We've shown plenty of pictures of these protests in recent weeks, and they look to be largely peaceful, but there have been allegations made by protesters against government forces of brutality. Have you been able to substantiate those allegations?
Right at the beginning, when the farmers started marching, initially from the state of Punjab to Delhi, that's about 300 to 400 kilometers, in some cases 500 kilometers. During that march, which was on the 26th and 27th of November, which was announced, notice was given 2 months in advance. In the course of that march, they faced tear gas, they faced water cannon, In fact, the police dug up roads on which they were to walk. All this is sufficiently documented by the media, so there's nothing in doubt. But yes, once we landed here, once we came and sat down on the roads, after that, the police has kept away. We have not complained about things thereafter. But what they faced on their march to the national capital for the simple task of wanting to come to their capital to talk to the government, they faced brutality, which is sufficiently well recorded. There cannot be two doubts about it.
Yogendra Yadav, thank you so much for talking to us.